And our word for today on this Wednesday of the 5th week in Ordinary Time, this Wednesday, February the 12th, our word for today is eat. Eat, our word for today, taken from our reading from the book of Genesis, chapter 2. Then the Lord God planted a garden in Eden in the east, and he placed there the man whom he had formed. Out of the ground the Lord God made various trees grow that were delightful to look at and good for food, with the tree of life in the middle of the garden, and the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. The Lord God then took the man and settled him in the garden that he had planted, in the Garden of Eden, to cultivate it and care for it. The Lord God then gave man this order: "You are free to eat from any of the trees of the garden except the tree of knowledge of good and evil. From that tree you shall not eat. The moment you eat from it, you are surely doomed to die." Everything here is good. Everything here is wonderful for consumption. And I invite you to participate in all of it, to partake in all of the wonderful things that I have created for you, the Lord God said. Except this one thing. Just don't do that. Now, I don't think most of us are naive enough to think that he's talking about an actual tree and an apple or some piece of fruit. No, of course not. It was in this participation in the invitation to do an evil thing. And so, of course, that's exactly what the evil one comes and offers to Adam, offers first to Eve, according to the story, and then to Adam. And they choose to eat of that thing, to eat of the thing that God had forbidden them not to eat, had forbidden them to eat it. That's it. Just had forbidden them to eat that one particular thing. So what are they drawn to? Of course, that one particular thing. They partake in that and they eat it. Then in the Gospel of Mark chapter 7, Jesus summoned the crowd again and said to them, "Hear me, all of you, and understand. Nothing that enters one from outside can defile that person, but the things that come out from within are what defile. The things that come out from within are what defile." When he got home away from the crowd, his disciples questioned him about the parable. He said to them, "Are even you likewise without understanding? Do you not realize that everything that goes into a person from outside cannot defile, since it enters not through the heart, but the stomach, and passes out into the latrine?" Thus he declared all foods clean. "But what comes out of the man, that is what defiles him. From within the man, from his heart, come evil thoughts, unchastity, theft, murder, adultery, greed, malice, deceit, licentiousness, envy, blasphemy, arrogance, folly. All these evils come from within, and they defile." Brothers and sisters, this is what we have to wrap our minds around. That at the fall, when Adam and Eve partook of the one thing that God asked them not to partake of, we entered into sin. And we are now stained by that original sin. We have sin nature living where? Within us, within our own bodies. We feel it with every disease, with every ache and pain, with every death. Why do you think it's difficult to lose people to death? Well, here's the simple explanation. We weren't made to die. We were made to live forever. Our bodies were not made to have a death here on the earth. God's original design is that our bodies would go on and on and on, and then we would enter into eternity without any deterioration whatsoever. It is when we sinned that sin and death entered the world, that disease and death entered the world. And so we are not natural to it. It is not natural to us. So we have to have this supernatural grace to overcome. How do we overcome? How do we have that supernatural grace? By eating. Now we eat a different sort. We partake in communion. We receive the body, blood, soul, and divinity of Jesus Christ himself. And it overcomes that deficiency that is within us by the grace that is sufficient to overcome it all as we eat. Eat, our word for today.